Folks, sometimes it's just best for me to go ahead and talk the way I usually do and stutter. I mean, I try to come in the door on all these questions from the side door. Uh, that's just the way it works, and I can't change it. I have to do the way I want to do it, or I'm not going to be able to say anything. So, this stone is extremely intriguing, filled with questions, and this is how I approach that question. Okay, now, uh, the Younger Dryas event, I think it extincted all of the. Anyway, let's just go with two animals for right now. I get too confused trying to get too complicated. The horses and the elephants. Okay, well, this happened about then, and then let's just. What was I going to say? Oh, then let's just go 1,000 years after this. Let's just say 10,000 years. So I'm assuming that the horses and elephants were already extinct 1,000 years after this Younger Dryas event. And if they weren't, let's just pretend like they were. My question is, when did these folks stop carving the extinct animals on stone tools, especially the elephants and the horses? When did they stop carving on it? I mean, it's not to say that at 10,000 or 9,000 or 8,000, 3,000 years after the Younger Dryas, it's not to say that some folks found some old tools that had images on them, and whether it's in a verbal memory, stories, or whatever, what I'm saying is I do not know when these extinct animals, when they stopped carving them on a tool. Like if a tool was made at that date, did they carve an elephant and a horse in it? Okay. Now, oh, we all know that there are certain very talented artists throughout the ages, and there are also several folks that was involved in that art that weren't the once weren't the most skilled. Because I found this in rock art. I found pieces that just you can tell when someone really put a lot of quality in them, and I could tell when just a couple of strokes made an elephant, and it was kind of basic, but I could still tell. What I'm trying to get at here on this particular stone, from my study, that I have found that Mother Earth gives the beginning. Now, in the Greek tradition, they'd cut a big old piece of square marble, and the artist would, they'd say, "Well, I see the image within it." So they start carving the marble away, and well, I don't, but to me, these folks looked at the stone, that what images they could make in it or whatever. Well, in this particular one here, I think it was a master artist, and yet at the same time, it didn't take very much to do what they did. Now, I'm going to try to show this stone in many different angles, and I'll try to focus in on the two eyes of the critter that they're expressing. Now, the stone was already there. I mean, it's not, all of this is not carving. I found some sanding and smoothing and a few small chips, but mostly they looked at this stone all the way around and highlighted the eyes of animals. Um, and also, I think I might see one elephant possibly with three sets of eyes. But if it had an elephant, then I would have to assume that this was made before the Younger Dryas. But It's hard to get this out of my mouth. Folks, you'll look at it with me now, but to me, this piece of art is totally water critters. There's ducks and snakes and birds that hunt by the water, frog, lizards. Every image that I visualize on this stone is a water creature. But let's start with the human face. I have found that this little peaky thing going back here is a good indication to let me know that there's a human face on this side. Now let me see if I can do this. I'll try to hold it steady. Okay. That is the indication of a human face with hair and all that. And that one too. Now, just look at all the critters and see if you see them as water creatures. The really tiny carving in here is awesome. It almost looks like they were doing this work under a jeweler's loupe. This is all images, all tiny images. And the eyes, that's what makes the image, the two opposing eyes. There is two ducks right here. There's the body of that duck, flat on the bottom as if he's on water. And there's the eyes to that duck. The other duck is right there. Their beaks touch. This is the other duck. Flat bottom as if he's on water. And these two ducks' heads, oh, I wish I could focus. They come together and their eyes make the eyes of a frog. And that critter, his eyes and all, sort of makes the eyes of a lizard, sort of. Oops, I feel like this video is getting too long. And I feel like you really can't see it unless you're holding it. But every little nipple on this thing, every little thing is some sort of image that I see water creatures. Bye for now.